crazy, insane winter that we've had. And with spring break right around the corner, I know a lot of us are wishing that we were going onto the beach, or maybe some of us even are. So I want you guys to picture this. You get your dream beach vacation. And you get there, everything goes fine because they show up to the beach. When you get to the beach, it is completely full of trash. Trash completely littering the whole entire beach, floating away with the waves. And that dolphin that you wanted to swim with, it's dead because it got caught in a fisherman's net. This is the reality of what's happening every single day because of all of the trash that people do not keep track of and all the other pollutants that are filling our ocean. And a lot of us are like, who cares? Like, we're in Iowa, we're not near any ocean, we can't be contributing to that. Well, that's a lie. We actually provide a butt ton of horrible things that are going into the ocean. And it's caused by everyone around the world, no matter how far away you are from the ocean. So I know we've all seen those Dawn commercials where you have the little baby duckling and they're washing off all the oil off the baby duckling. Well, this is extremely important that that oil gets washed off because it can lead to hypothermia of the animals because the oil disrupts their waterproofing in their body, so it allows the cold water to get into it and touch their actual bodies that the fur protects them from and gives them hypothermia. It also takes away, I said that, water repellent. There is tons of oil that actually naturally seeps into the ocean. 46% of it is from a natural seep, but the reason why this isn't as effective as when we accidentally spill thousands of tons of oil into the ocean is because the natural seep is so much slower that animals can actually adapt to it. Where 49% of the oil dumped into the sea is caused by us, whether by accident or from operation use. So the oil that you're using to change your car, if you drop some on the sea or when you're driving down the road, it gets washed into the nearest creek, which goes to the nearest river and flows all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. We have a very good act of putting things where they don't belong. So farmers, this is the big thing for Iowa, is a lot of our farmers use fertilizer to increase their crop yield. And since we are such a big farming industry, we have an excess amount of fertilizer. And what happens is when it rains, this fertilizer is washed off of the fields and goes into the nearest creek, which then flows into the Mississippi. And the Mississippi goes clear out to the Gulf of Mexico. And what happens when the fertilizer gets into the Gulf of Mexico is it actually aids the algae that is inside of the Gulf of Mexico, which there's supposed to be a natural balance of the amount of algae, but with this fertilizer, the algae blooms and grows like crazy, which takes up the oxygen in the water, creating dead zones. And these dead zones force the fish and other animals out of these areas because they can no longer survive without oxygen in the water. Right now in the Gulf of Mexico, there's an 8,780 square mile size dead zone, which not only affects the wildlife, but also affects fishermen. They no longer can fish alongside Gulf of Mexico because there's no fish there and they're losing their income. Fertilizer is not the only thing that is carried by rivers. Our garbage. You throw your garbage out when you're out fishing and something floats off your boat and gets into the water. Well, it doesn't just sink to the bottom of the river. It's carried all the way out. And again, down into the Gulf of Mexico for us and out into the ocean. As Lexi said, plastic is one of the worst ones that we have in the ocean. For every square mile, there's 45,000 pieces of plastic. So imagine a square city block full of 45,000 pieces of plastic. That's disgusting. And the reason why plastic is so horrible for the animals is it absorbs the toxins inside the water. And so when they eat that, when they mistake it as food, it could possibly choke them. But if it doesn't choke them, the toxins that's built up from the plastic could poison them and kill them. And if it doesn't poison them, it'll eventually poison us. Because you have this little baby fish, and he eats this little plastic straw. And then you've got a bigger fish who comes and eats that fish. Well, the fisherman catches that fish and serves it to his family. So that fish is full of all of the toxins of the plastic that it ate. and the food, and it's food that ate it. So it's just this constant building of plastic and toxins that we're putting into the ocean. It's coming back and biting us in the butt. There's also thousands of tons of garbage that is dumped into the ocean every single year. And this is what's building up to the North Pacific garbage patch that's outside of California. It is 617,000 square miles big of garbage that has been caught up by the two main currents in the Pacific, and it just rotates it like a whirlpool. And so we do have ships that go out there and try to clean some of it up, but with that much garbage, you can't get on top of it. And it's absolutely disgusting. So overall, even though we are from Iowa, we contribute a huge amount to all the garbage that is in the ocean. And people all around the world do it. And it's coming to bite us in the butt because we eventually are eating that plastic in a weird, twisted way because our food eats it. And so we obviously need to start doing something about it because we're poisoning ourselves through this.